A group of friends, Stooge, Helen, and Roger, drive as they go to a Halloween party. They pass by an older man who was carrying groceries, and Stooge decides to tease him by showing his buttocks, while another guy, Sal, also scares the older man with a rat, causing him to drop his groceries. Judy tries to help him pick up his grocery, but he is too pissed off with teenagers already and ends up calling her a whore. The old guy curses them and says they'll receive what they deserve, while holding an apple and razor. Judy returns home and asks her mother if Jay, her boyfriend, called, and her mother says he didn't. Instead, Sal was the one who called, but Judy was not interested. Then, Jay calls her and asks if she's ready for him to pick her up. However, Judy just got home and is starting to dress up. Jay informs Judy that there's a change of plan. Instead of going to the school party, they'll be going to Angela's party at Hull House, an abandoned mortuary. Judy is hesitant to come since she thinks Angela is weird, but Jay convinces him, making her eventually agree. While Judy dresses, her younger brother Billy scares her. He leaps from inside her closet, wearing a monster mask, and teases Judy with her breast. As the doorbell rings, Billy runs to the door and attempts to scare the person. However, nobody is there when he opens the door. Suddenly, another door opens, so Billy opens it slowly. Sal scares him, angering Billy. Sal asks Billy to tell Judy to meet him downstairs, but Billy responds that Judy is attending a Halloween party with Jay. So Sal asks where the party is, but Billy refuses to tell him. He convinces Billy by giving him money and eventually tells him the party is at the Hull House. Meanwhile, Angela steals plenty of items in a store for her party, while her friend Suzanne distracts the male cashiers by showing her underwear. Jay then picks up Judy, and Billy embarrasses her in front of her boyfriend. While Stooge, Helen, and Roger drive to the party, they start arguing about irrelevant things, causing them to miss a turn and flat a tire. On the other hand, Jay and Judy then pick up their friends, Max and Franny, to go together to the party. Helen says that no one would throw a party at such a place, but Stooge tells her everything is fine. Then, Jay and his buddies pass by Stooge, but instead of assisting them, they mock them and drive away. However, Judy thinks they should at least help them with their tire. Later, they arrive at Hull House, formerly a funeral parlor. Max mentions that one of the family members became enraged and slaughtered all of their family members before killing himself. Therefore, everyone can't believe they're partying in such a place. They are the first to arrive, so they look around the place. Max then explores if the myth he heard is true and notices an underground stream with his stethoscope. He lets Judy hear the water stream and says the high wall was intended to keep evil spirits out since they can't cross water. Max further mentions that nothing can be heard, not even crickets. Afterward, they go inside the house because it's starting to get chilly outside. As they go inside, they notice the house is dark and dirty, making Judy scared and want to go home. Then, they see a coffin, so Jay plans to scare his other friends by hiding inside. However, upon opening the coffin, Sal scares them with a monster's mask he took from Billy, angering Jay. Judy stops him from fighting Sal since his plan is also to scare his other friends. Sal introduces himself to everyone but gets insulted, and Angela says he isn't invited to the party. However, Stooge, Helen, and Roger arrive at the house, and the party immediately starts. Everyone drinks, dances, and enjoys the night. Judy tries to light the candles with her lighter, but it doesn't work, so Angela arrives with a match and lights them. Then, Judy gives her thanks. Judy puts the lighter on the table, but Angela tells her not to because she doesn't want the spirits to see them littering their place. This scares Judy. Then, Helen pulls out the party lights, which makes everyone feel more joyful. Suddenly, the batteries on the radio die, so Angela proposes a game that could fit the Halloween event, a seance. Franny proposes a past life seance where they look in a mirror and see their past lives, and everyone agrees. Suddenly, everyone hears an eerie voice coming from the other room, scaring Roger. So Stooge pushes Roger into the room with him and suddenly screams. Roger immediately returns to the room with a scared face, while Stooge luckily sees a mirror in the room that is perfect for their seance. Everyone then sits in front of the mirror except Roger. Angela keeps telling everyone to concentrate, but the boys keep laughing. Suddenly, the reflection in the mirror fades to black. However, a guy talks, causing the mirror to go back to normal, and everyone looks at him. But Helen looks at the mirror again and notices a demon's head and a guy's severed head, causing her to scream out of fear. She starts to panic as the mirror falls and breaks. However, they are all angry at Helen because they don't believe her, except for Judy, which comforts her. They hear a stumbling sound as they check the mirror's broken pieces. Jay assumes there are just newcomers at the party, although Angela does not invite anybody else. Judy thinks the noise is coming from the basement. However, a vault unexpectedly opens, allowing the demon Helen witnessed to approach them. They cannot see the demon when it enters the room, but the demon possesses Suzanne while she's putting on lipstick. Angela then recognizes the indicators of a devil's possession: a smell, a sudden chill, and an unexpected breeze. Yet nobody believes her. Everyone starts making fun of Roger for being scared, but he points out that they are in the house of the dead and want to leave. Suddenly, they smell the scent of roses, so Max tells them they're smelling multiple ghosts. Angela then explains that it is not a ghost because it is not haunted, but a demon. After all, the house is possessed. She further explains that a ghost is a spirit of people who have died, while demons have never existed in human form. However, everyone still doesn't believe her. Judy then agrees with Roger that they should leave the place, but everyone still wants to party. Helen wants to leave with Roger, but they don't have a car to go home, so Suzanne gives them Angela's car keys. After they leave, Jay decides to explore the house so he and Judy can get privacy. Max and Franny come along, while Sal and Stooge stay with Angela and Suzanne. Suzanne then wants to go to the bathroom together with Stooge and suddenly kisses Angela, making her possessed too. Meanwhile, Jay, Judy, Max, and Franny move to a different room. Max then begins to tell a story about colonization, but Jay isn't interested in hearing anymore. However, Max still tells the story since Judy wants to listen. After telling the story, Jay signals Max to leave the room to get some privacy with Judy. So Max and Franny leave and go to a different room. As they leave, Jay starts to make a move on Judy, but she refuses since the place is too creepy for her. Suzanne and Stooge search for the bathroom. When they found it, she goes inside, leaving him outside. Stooge tells her he thought they'd be going in the bathroom at the same time, but Suzanne doesn't respond. He then checks the other room, but a sudden wind scares him, causing him to break his flashlight. Meanwhile, Helen and Roger cannot find the gate in the wall through which they entered a while ago. Helen thinks they are all already dead and have gone to hell. This angers Roger, so he tells her to shut up. Suddenly, Helen goes missing, making Roger scared. He tries to find her, but a voice suddenly calls his name, so he locks himself in the car. Jay and Judy start to make love, but she's too bothered by the place. He then tells her to quit the act because she has already done that before with Sal. However, Judy tells him to mind his business and that it was only a date. Jay then kisses Judy again, but she pushes him away, so he angrily leaves her in the room. Stooge starts to get angry with Suzanne for being too long in the bathroom, still clueless that it's the demon. Suddenly, Suzanne's face starts to change to an older man's. Then, Stooge hears the mirror inside the bathroom break, so he immediately opens the door, but the bathroom is empty, so he looks for her. Meanwhile, Angela starts to act weird, stating some demonic message. The radio and light suddenly turn on, making Angela dance like there's no tomorrow. Sal tries to leave the room, but Stooge appears, saying the party is back. Sal warns him that Angela is acting weird, but he doesn't care. The rock music changes into slow music, so Stooge and Angela start to slow dance. Angela compliments Stooge on how attractive he is and kisses him. However, she ends up biting off his tongue. While Roger is sleeping in the car, the vehicle suddenly shakes, waking him up. He thinks that Stooge is up the car, but he sees Helen's body over it, so he leaves the car and runs. Jay sees Suzanne bare, putting makeup on her body. She seduces him, and they start to make love. Suzanne suddenly asks what he's looking at and tells him to stop staring at her. She transforms into the demon form and pushes his eyes, killing Jay. Meanwhile, Sal finds Angela burning her hands, so Sal runs away. As Max and Franny are making love in the coffin, Stooge suddenly arrives. He has already turned into a demon and breaks Franny's neck. Then, he constantly closes the coffin until he cuts Max's arm and kills him. Meanwhile, Roger goes into the house again and hears Angela's voice saying, "Welcome back." As he turns around, he sees the demonic form of Angela, so he runs immediately and comes across Sal. Stooge tries to open the door where Judy is but can't since it's locked. Sal and Roger then hear Judy asking for help to free her, but Roger is initially hesitant to help her because he's scared it's not Judy. However, Sal still opens the door, and Judy hugs him. Angela then approaches them, so Roger runs immediately. While Judy stumbles because of fear, Sal carries her and runs to the room where Suzanne is. They see Jay's corpse and Suzanne's demonic form. Sal lets Judy run, but Suzanne tries to attack her. Sal tries to stop her but ends up flying outside the window. All the doors suddenly close, except for one, so Judy immediately goes there. Meanwhile, Sal wakes up and climbs back into the house. On the other hand, Judy enters the room. sees Max's hand and suddenly grabs her feet. The coffin opens, and Max and Franny rise. This scares Judy, so she runs outside the room. All the doors are still locked, so Judy goes upstairs and sees Roger over the window. As she approaches him, Stooge suddenly appears in front of her, making her run for her life. Judy tries to go downstairs, but Suzanne blocks her way, so she goes upstairs to the highest floor in the house. Stooge arrives in the room, so she goes to the roof deck and sees Roger. Judy tells him to be quiet, but Roger informs her that Angela is beside her. Angela then chokes Judy, but Sal arrives and pushes Judy away from Angela, causing her to almost fall. Angela starts choking Sal and eventually falls off the roof, causing Sal to die. Roger instructs Judy to move to his side for him to catch her when she falls, so she slowly moves towards him. However, Stooge suddenly appears, making Judy fall on top of Roger. They immediately run away, but Angela is in their way. Due to that, they go back inside and enter the basement where the vault is. Judy notices the vault and wants to open it. However, Roger is scared. She convinces him until he agrees, so Roger tells her to pray, but Judy says she's been praying all night. As Judy opens the vault, she notices a skull and realizes it's a crematorium. The demons try to convince Roger to open the door in return for them not hurting him since they only want Judy. Suddenly, Judy realizes that the demon is free because it's Halloween, a special night for evil. Hence, they decide to wait inside until dawn. However, the lock on the door starts to fall, making them panic. Judy has an idea of making the pipe with gas in the vault a flamethrower, so she pulls the pipe to remove it. However, as she tries to start a fire, her lighter is still not working. When the door opens, the lighter lights, putting Angela and Stooge on fire. They take the opportunity to run, but the door is still locked. Jay appears, making Roger run away. Suddenly, all their undead friends appear as well. Surprisingly, Roger jumps on the window, and Judy goes outside too. Roger says they're out, but Judy tells him they must go across the wall. Their only way to cross is to climb the wall using a rope with thorns. Since it's hard for Judy, Roger goes first and then tries to lift her above the wall. However, Stooge grabs her leg, causing it to burn. Roger then falls to the other side of the wall while Judy is getting pulled by all of his undead friends. When Judy is about to give up, Roger climbs back up, grabs her hand, and eventually saves her. Then, all their undead friends turn to dust as the sun rises. It's already the next day's morning when Roger and Judy are heading back home. They pass the older man's house and say they are nasty people returning after a party. The older guy goes back inside his house after picking up his newspaper. Then, breakfast has already been made for him by his wife. He complains that his day is unpleasant because of seeing the teens. As he eats his wife's pie, he says it's okay. His wife is shocked since he usually loves her homemade pie since she used the apples that the older man bought. Suddenly, the older guy stops eating at that point. His neck is ripped open from the inside, and one of the razor blades falls outside in the spring of blood. The elderly guy passes away in agony. His wife walks up to him, tenderly kisses him on the head, and wishes him a happy Halloween.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.